Hi everybody, this is Peter. Today I'm going to be looking at a few different bowling board games. First one I'm going to look at is Home Court Games Pro Bowling board game, and I'm also going to be looking at Bowl-O-Rama from Plaay.com, and also a free game called In the Pocket Bowling. So I just want to show you a bit about the components and how the game plays and things like that, just to give you an idea what things look like. So, Pro Bowling Home Court Games is available from the Home Court Games website. I'll put the link below the video. So it's a game that has a few different modes. It's got a quick play mode and like a frame by frame mode. And so here's a bowler card. So you have the name of the bowler, and this is one from the all-time great men's set, and so each card is based on a single season in the bowler's career, whether he's a right or left hand, where he's home from. The QPR rating is a rating for his qualifying rounds, and PRs for his match play rounds, like in a single game. And basically you're going to be rolling three d6s and seeing whether he gets a strike, a 9, a split, or an MP. And when I go through the frame by frame, you'll see what all these things mean. And there's a few other ranges on the cards here. Now with this game, it has several charts, what they call these quick play base charts, and it's based on their acute quick play rating. So what you can do is, if you want to replay a tournament, like the way what they do in qualifying, sometimes they play like 18 games, roll 18 games of qualifying. What you do is use the QPR rating 39, and then you figure out how many quick play games you're going to be playing. So say that you're going to have 18 games of qualifying. So you look in the 18 column, and for Pete Weber, you look at 39, and you go over, and it's 4,050. So that's the base score for 18 games of qualifying. So that's a total pinfall for his 18 games. And then what you do is you roll on this 18 game quick play chart, and to see what the adjustment is. So say we have a roll here of 9 on the D12 and 10 on the 2D6. So you look at 9, 10, and it's minus 202. So you just take that 4,050, subtract 202, and you get, 3,842. And so you can do that for every bowler that you have, and you can quickly get what their total score is for the 18 games, and you can figure out who qualifies to go on to the next subsequent rounds. So they have these for this 18 game quick play chart. They have ones for like 10 game and 5 game and even 1 game, depending on how many quick play rounds you're going to do here. So here's the 1 game quick play chart. So if you're just going to do a quick play of like a single round at a time, you would just roll on the same chart and get your adjustment, and then you have with just one roll of the dice, basically, you get a score for the game. Because you go back to this quick play base chart, for 1 game, if you take the QPR rating on the bowler's card to find out what their average score is, and then you just roll on the 1 game quick play chart and get a score for the round. Okay, so when you're playing with this game, when you're playing a match play game, just in other words, frame by frame, you have these fast action cards, which you refer to if the bowler does not get a strike on the round, on the frame. So we'll just have Dick Weber playing Pete Weber here. So we'll just roll. We'll just play a few frames here, and you can see how this works. Okay, so just roll a red, white, and blue die, and the roll is 252. So Pete Weber gets a strike. And Dick Weber rolled 243, so he also gets a strike. So in the second frame, we get a roll of, for Dick Weber, we get a roll of 565. So he only knocks down 9 pins with his first roll. So because he did that, we draw a fac here. And so we look at the fac, and the fac actually tells you which pin was not knocked down, so it's the number 10 pin. And whereas most other bowling games will just tell you the number of pins that were knocked down and number of pins that weren't knocked down, but this one actually tells you which pins. So you take this adjustment number, -1, and you adjust the 1 pin range rating on the bowler card, and you roll again. So in this case, it's the successful range for a split is, or the spare is 111 to 653. So we just roll, and we roll a 564, so he gets the spare. Okay, so we'll just continue on here with Pete Weber's turn, and we roll a 643. And 643 is an MP. And so we flip the fac on the MP, and MP says 7. So he's knocked down 7 pins. He's left the thirds, number 3, number 6, and number 10 pin. And so we take the adjustment of +1, and we're going to add that to his MP rating, which is 186. And we're going to look at this thing called the 216 chart. And we're going to look up 187, right, it was +1, 187, sorry, so 621, so he has to roll anything up to a 621 in order to get the spare. So we roll and get a 546, so he gets the spare. So we write down 7 and the spare symbol on the score sheet. Okay, so the next frame for Pete Weber, and the roll is a 544. So he's knocked down 9 again, draw a fac, 9, and he's left the 4th pin, so there's no adjustment. Pete Weber's 1 pin rating is 1 to 662. Roll a second time, and he gets the spare. Now Dick Weber get a 433, and that's a strike. And I'll just roll another frame here. So Dick Weber in the 4th frame is 514, so that's a 9. So we draw a fac, and he's left the 5 pin, so he gets adjustment of +1. His 1 pin range is to 654, so it's up to 655. We roll a 254, and so he gets his spare. Pete Weber 511, so he also gets a 9 on this one. Left the 4th pin, no adjustment. His 1 pin range is 662, and he gets the spare. So, you can see it plays pretty quickly, and that's what how the game mechanics work. One thing that's good to know about these fac cards is that on these split and MP ratings, if you roll for the to see if they get the spare or not, and if they don't, then you refer back to the fac, and it tells you what happens on their second roll. They only knock down 2 pins out of the 3 in this case, and in this case too. So that's what this second roll 2 pins means on the card. Okay, now we have looking at Bowl-O-Rama from Plaay.com. This game's been around for a while too. So I just want to show you quickly what the game components you get. You get a nice short 4-page rule book, and actually the last page and a half tells you what the rules of bowling are and how to score a game, which is quite handy for somebody like me, because I wasn't really familiar with how a bowling game is scored. And then you get, this is the board that you can use, and for one of the modes, and I'll show you in a minute. And you get a bunch of charts here to refer to are spares, and there's the quick play mode, and then these are what the bowler cards look like. This is one from one of the fictional bowlers sets that you can get with the game. It comes with, I believe, 24 fictional bowlers, and then there's another set of 48 fictional bowlers you can add to it, so you can get 72 fictional bowlers if you want. So basically, what you're rolling is a D6 and a D20 on each roll, and so the D6, if you roll a 1, then it's called an exceptional ball, and so you would look in this column here with the exclamation mark. If you roll a 2 to 5 on the D6, you would just look in the regular column here, and if you roll a 6, it's a questionable ball, and so you can, X is a strike, and 9, and then you see further down, you only knock down 7 pins, or you would look at this Y ball chart, which is on the main game board here. And then the rest of the card is taken up with, if they knock down 9 pins, these are the charts you would look at on the spare attempts. So we'll get to that when we play the game. Yeah, so with this game, one of the things you can do is actually, you get a D6, a couple of D6s and a couple of D20s with the game, and you can actually lay out the board like, so it looks like an actual bowling lane here. And what you do is you can roll the D20 as a bowling ball to see if you can get it in the space here where the pins are. So that not quite touching the thing, but if it lands in here, it would be called an exceptional ball, and then you would look on the exceptional chart column to see what happens with that bowler. And if you roll just in here, so say past this line here, it's just a regular ball, and if you roll actually off the board, then it's a questionable ball, and you would read from the questionable column. So that's one way you can play, which is kind of neat. You can, but if you don't want to play with that, that's fine. At the bottom of that chart, you have the sorry for the glare here. You have the Y chart and the Z ball chart. So the Y charts can sometimes come up from the bowler cards. Here you can see some Y results here. So you refer to the Y chart, and then sometimes if you roll a high number, you roll 2d6 and it says Z, then you would have to look over in the Z chart. And there's also a U chart, which is referred to on one of the backs of one of these charts here. So yeah, this game also has a quick play mode, and these are the charts for that. So you can choose to be aggressive or not, or you can just do it normal, and the WOW comes into play if you roll a certain result. So for instance, if you roll a D6 and a D20, so if you roll a 1 on the D6 and you roll a 1 also on the D20, it's a WOW result. So you would just roll again, and you would look at the WOW columns. So if you rolled again on the a 1 on the D6 when you're rolling on the WOW chart, and you get a 1 on the D20, then the bowler's rolled a 300, he or she. And the star result is I guess a questionable ball. You can see that happening at if you roll a 6 on the D6 and a 20 on the D20. That would send you to this questionable ball chart, and so you would subtract that from the average bowler's average score, which is located up in here. Here it is. See, his average is 208. Oh yeah, one thing I should mention is that the game also comes with some generic bowling cards, like no names on them, with different averages, like ranging from I think 130 to like 220 or something like that. And so you can simulate sort of a city bowling league or a local bowling league with using various averages and using those cards. So yeah, so if you want to play a quick play mode, if you wanted to play, say, like a proper qualifying tournament, and you want to say have 18 games of qualifying, you'd have to roll roll once for each game and then add them up, as opposed to home court games bowling, where you can get you get a total base score, and then you roll on a chart to get the adjustment to that. So it's quicker to resolve bigger tournaments with the other game, but that's that's a personal preference too, depending on how you want to play this game. But let's just go through some regular gameplay here, just frame by frame, and so you can see how this works. So you roll a d6 and a d20, and so we're going to start with Irv Wisniewski. So we roll a 6 and a 15, so that's a questionable ball. So 6, so you look in the questionable column here, and 15, and it says 7 minus. So he's only knocked down 7 pins. So you're looking, on the second roll, you're going to be looking at this 7 minus chart. So we look at the 7 minus, we roll a 6 and a 7, so again he's rolled a questionable ball. And we go down to 7, and he's only knocked down 1 pin, so he only knocked down 8 pins in that frame. So go look at here, Dewey Pelicano. And another 6, and 12. And so he's knocked down 7, so that's just a regular 7, so we're going to look at his, just a regular 7 chart. And we rolled another white 6, so I wonder what's going on with this die here. I've got to give it a better roll. And 17. And again, he's only knocked down 1 pin, so they both only knocked down 8 in the first frame. So Pelicano's up in the second frame. So we get a 2 on this d6 and a 9. So 2 is just a regular ball. 9, he gets a strike. Wisniewski, 2 and 3. So he also gets a strike. So on the third frame for Wisniewski, and we get a 3 and a 6. So 3 is a regular ball. 6, he gets a strike. And Pelicano is a 4 and a 3, so he also gets a strike. So let's just say that Pelicano gets one of these Y ball results. And so you would just look in the Y chart here, and we roll 2d6. We'd have to roll 2 different colors, because so we get a 51, and so he would have knocked down 5 pins on his first ball, and then you would go and look at these spare attempt boards and be looking at the 5s. So it's just similar to the other ones. It's just for the lower ones, so it's 5 plus, 5, 5 minus, 4 plus, and then the next one is 4, 3, and so on. So then, yeah, you would just roll, and on these spare attempt boards, you can see these letter ratings at the top, and that's you're taking into account the spare rating of the bowler. So, for instance, if this was Wisniewski, his spare rating is a C, so we'd be looking in the C column and rolling the d6 and the d20. Roll a 5 and a 1. So 5 is the normal, and 1 is on the d20, so he gets the spare. So that's how that works. So so you can see those two games are very similar in terms of how quickly they play. The card results are a little bit different. Card sizes are a bit different too. So yeah, in terms of availability, the Bowl-O-Rama has a few past seasons available. I know 1980 was the most recent one, and I think it has the last 3 or 4 professional bowling seasons available. And like I said, some fictional sets. So that's neat. Whereas Home Court Games Bowling has has an all-time great set for men and for women, and it also has various men's and women's seasons going back to the 1950s. I think there's even a season from the 1940s for the men available with that game. So so that could factor into which game you'd like to look at. So I'm just going to pause here and set up and look at In the Pocket Bowling. Okay, now we're going to look at In the Pocket Bowling game, which is a free game that's developed by Mark Miller. and it's available through the Delphi forums. I'll put the link to that forum and where you can get that. He's posted it there, so you can just download it from the forum itself. Yeah, so this game is another sort of a very simply designed game, very easy to follow. You just need 3d6. Really, all you need to play are your, bowler cards here, and then the out of the pocket chart, which is something you have to refer to depending on the results. So basically, this is what a bowler card looks like. You have the year that the card is based on, and basically you're rolling 3 d6s, and you're adding up the total. And if you get a total of 10 or more, then it's an automatic strike, and that's true for all bowlers. But if you get certain dice combination, you refer to the bowler card. So like a 111, this bowler would knock down 9 and then miss the second time. If he rolls a 211, then it's a 9 and a spare. And then this OOTP is that out of the pocket chart I was showing you before. So if you roll triple 2s, 3s, or 4s, you refer to that chart. If you get anything that totals a 5, you look at that chart too. And then so basically you're looking for triples like this, and then double 5s, double 6s. If any of those come up, then you're going to be looking at the bowler card. Otherwise, the total is going to give you the score for that end. So, like for instance, if the total of the 3 dice is 8, then that means they've knocked down 8 pins, and then they get the spare. Okay, so yeah. So anyway, just trying to find a couple of bowlers here that they're a little bit different here. Okay, so here I have Mark Roth and Norm Duke. So you can see Mark Roth's got a few more strikes on his card rather than Norm Duke does, so it's a little bit different. So let's just roll. Let's just roll a few frames for these guys. So 3, 4, 2 is that's a total of 9. So all those, yeah, for these results at the bottom, it's the same for all the bowlers in this game. So 9, he knocks down 9 and gets the spare. So roll for Norm Duke, and we get a 5-5-1. So 5-5-1, he knocks down 8 and then 1. So he only scores 9 for the frame instead of the 10 that Roth did. So we roll for Duke in the next. So we get 4-5-6, which is 15, and that's a strike. Roth rolls at 6-3-2, and that's 11, so that's a strike as well. So Roth in the third frame, so we get a 2-2-5, and that's a total of 9, so he gets 9 and a spare. And Duke, it's a 2-5-6. So let's say that like Duke rolls triple 2s. So if you get a triple 2, then you roll again and refer to that out of the pocket chart. So let's roll it. We roll a 1-5-6, and this chart here is a high to low sequence, so it's actually 6-5-1 is what we're going to be reading. He also has the same chart but reversed called a low to high, depending on how you like to read the dice. So we had 6-5-1. It says that bowler leaves 2 pins, and we roll 1 die. Sorry, here we are. Roll 1 die, and see what happens. So we roll a 2. And roll a 2, and it says open, so he knocks down 8 and knocks down 1, so he scores 9 for the frame. And that's basically it. That's how simple that game is. So since this is a free game, there's not a lot of bowlers available. He has a top 32 bowlers of all time, and I believe it's normalized between the different seasons, so that you can bowl these players against one another. And then I think there's a couple of other sets available. It's free, so the price is right. and it's a nice quick little game. So yeah, so you know, all three games are nice to play. You really can't go wrong with any of them. It just depends on what kind of experience you want to have. If you want to have a big tournament where you're rolling a lot of qualifying games, it might be better to go with home court games bowling, since it's easier to get the scores for the qualifying rounds. And versus Bowl-O-Rama, but if you're rolling just sort of like single games, one-on-one, there's basically no difference between the games in terms of playability and fun. So I'd recommend all of these games. So hopefully this will give you an idea of what they're like. So thanks for watching.